working for now if anybody has a question.
Yes, hi, do you hear me?
Yes, how you doing, James?
Hey, Dan, how are you? How are you? And first, let me start off. Kudos, Dan, certainly to the work that you do on a daily basis, you and your staff at Mott Haven. I mean, it's very heartfelt. And certainly, again, the CASIA Network stands at the forefront in partnership with all of the other community partners. And I just want to give a special appreciation to our panel today. I think it was quite enlightening. And I think that certainly, again, that collectively together, as the principal had mentioned, and excuse me, I forgot his name, we must ensure that the voices are heard. And I think that is paramount, even though, example, one may not have the actual task of voting, but certainly, again, that we must be mindful of those silent voices. So Acacia Network, and I think that we will all agree here, 1000%. Mental health stands at the forefront at this pandemic at this time. With that said, Acacia Network has open access to our mental health complex. All what is needed, I actually put my information on the chat room. Please contact me that we can expedite, certainly again, that much needed service. Primary care service is paramount, yes, but certainly again, those that are really, again, trying to cope with mental health issues is really in terms of how do they navigate on a daily basis within the community. So I just want to bring that out, Dan. And on behalf of Raul Rusi, our CEO, he sends his warmest regards and certainly, again, continue with the work at hand, Dan.
Thank you, James. Thank you.
I'm circling back because I actually have to go, but I also wanted to share that there are lots of undocumented people doing amazing things in the Bronx, right? For example, the people at La Morada restaurant that is located in Mott Haven, so I think that there's something classist about suggesting that people need somebody else's voice to be able to be heard. And I think that we also need to be able to confront that. I would also add that even in this panel, where are the people? Where are the people that are not the least marginalized and the most marginalized that actually get impacted by these things? I think that often we miss out on an opportunity to be able to include people, and we only speak for them and not with them in community. And that also creates a scale, right, of some sort of distance in this, in these conversations. We should also be able to be specific about including people that are actually actively struggling. The reality is that even though we all see it, probably the people that are out there that also have something to say, they get excluded from these conversations. And that's something that I think we can collectively be able to support. So not just speaking for people, but also including them in the conversation and moving aside so that they have an opportunity to use their own voice. I did want to circle back to the voting question, because I think that part of the challenge is that also we've made it so that we have promoted and marketed federal elections as being the it for voting, and we miss out on the opportunity for people to have access and influence and really show their influence on local elections. For example, I live in Mott Haven. The last time I went to vote at 8 p.m., I was number 1200, right? Even though my polling site is across the street from a housing project where there are thousands of people that live there. So it's there really is no intentionality and prioritization around impacting or collecting people that stand to be most affected by the choices. And also, we don't even know how this money is utilized. So there is very little incentive for people to vote. And even when people vote, the Electoral College is a sham on the federal level, right? So even if you do vote, that doesn't mean that you necessarily are going to get the outcome that you really want, as we saw in 2016. And then locally, we hear about from these people 1 or 2 days, and the people that tend to continuously vote are the people that have been voting, right? So newer people are discouraged from joining politics because it can be very messy. And so the overall suggestion is that people get that space. So I don't necessarily know that it's exclusively from the role of the politician, who they already get they already have a reputation of not being particularly for the people after they get elected, but it's also the information that is given to the people throughout the course of what it is that they do. I think that there are lots of community people that are doing amazing things and that we miss sight when we only turn to leaders who might have their own best interests at heart. So I think there are so many more leaders than we are actually looking at. And I think that this climate gives us an opportunity to be able to do that and to be able to acknowledge them.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Guys, just to make sure, we always collect feedback. So if anybody has, a better strategy to do outreach, please feel free to, send us an email with your feedback. We distributed around 1,000 flyers in Mott Haven. We also promoted today's event on social media. So if anyone knows, of a better strategy to get the residents involved, make sure, to send us an email, to give us a call, and to let us know so that we can get more residents involved. If anybody has any more questions, please feel free to use the box to submit your questions or turn on your mic to ask the panelists, your questions if you have a question. We'll take feedback, via email if anybody has additional feedback.
Hi, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Hi. So I'm Anthony Carrión. I'm with Filomena from Hunger Free NYC. She spoke first. I do have a question for the panelists. For Johanna Fernandez, particularly, but anybody from the panel can answer, because she quoted Martin Luther King back in '67, and not the I Have a Dream Martin Luther King, but the Riverside Church Martin Luther King. I was wondering, what does this say about our country that, the problems we were grappling with 50 years ago, in terms of, unrest, social unrest, war, poverty, 50 years later, we're still grappling with it. I mean, the South Bronx right now has I think a real unemployment rate of around 40%, according to a New School economics professor, James Parrott, and it certainly feels and looks that way. What do you think that says about the country, the direction we're headed, and what do you think we need to turn it around? You wrote a book on the Young Lords. Do you see that emerging, or do you see something else emerging as a response to all this? Just like to know your thoughts.
Yes, thank you, Anthony, and thank you, Evelyn, for your comment about freedom and liberation being something that's produced and created by the people who are oppressed themselves. I'm the host of a morning show on WBAI, and I've interviewed undocumented people who are distributing food to undocumented people because they know where they live and what they need, and they have the trust of, their community. So yeah, we've been the people we've been waiting for, regardless of where we are, for sure. Although there are limitations too, like, oppression and the level of oppression does circumscribe what we can do, at different moments. I think that part of what we're seeing is an awakening. Even this conversation, like I've been in this business of talking about what's wrong with the world and being engaged and struggle on the front lines since God was a boy. But there is a humanity about what we are talking about. I'm not a spring chick. I've been around for a minute. There's a humanism that I'm hearing in these conversations that I have not sensed before. Like this statistic that 40% of people in the Bronx are unemployed. That's terrible. It rankles, this whole conversation makes me want to cry. That we are in the same situation we were in 1968 on the eve of Martin Luther King's assassination. I think there is possibility between 35 and 40 million people have marched in the United States. That is unprecedented. But there is a new generation of people that is being awakened. And the question is, what are people being given as the alternative, as the pill that we need to take to free us? The majority of people, and even our movement leaders, and we don't have organizational leaders. They're like, no, this moment is not necessarily defined by revolutionary organizations on the ground, disconnected from foundations. That's what we need. Because when you are not connected to a money stream, you are going to speak truth to power unequivocally. And unfortunately, we do not have the organizational infrastructure of the left right now to educate a new generation of people who are discontented with society about what the solutions are. Yes, the November election is important, but no election in and of itself has solved the problems of the people, for the people. This election is important, but it's not going to resolve 40% unemployment. It's not going to make Lebanon Hospital any better. Where do we go? I think we need to rebuild a left alternative and a revolutionary alternative in this country. One that understands the depth of the problems and that can develop a strategy, a militant strategy to save us, but also save the planet. What our generation or the next 10 years is bringing us is apocalyptic in terms of what's going to happen to these cities because of the environmental crisis before us. And you know who are the people who are going to suffer the most because we're all living by the sea, by the rivers? People of color are going to be massively displaced in the next 10 years because of the environmental catastrophe that is foretold, that is certain. So what we need is that we need to stop pouring droplets in the ocean in terms of proposals for how to save us. We need a massive reorganization and reprioritization in society. And it has to start at the grassroots. It has to start at the grassroots. People who are affected. And you know what? As people, if you talk to people who are not in 501c3s and are not in, in universities, they'll tell you, oh yeah, the problem is that the rich control everything and the politicians and we got nothing. And if you believe that fundamentally, the question is, so what's the alternative? And so I think we need radical alternatives if we're going to survive. I don't know if I've answered your question, Anthony, but the Young Lords and the Black Panthers were self-proclaimed anti-capitalist socialists. Fred Hampton, one of the most advanced politically leaders of the Black Panther Party, who was assassinated by the US government in Chicago in collaboration with the police, he called for a rainbow coalition, a coalition of poor whites, poor Blacks and working class white people, Puerto Ricans and Mexicans in Chicago, the first rainbow coalition. He said, we need to all come together because we share class interests. And he also said, if we don't fight capitalism, there's no snowball's chance in hell that we're going to fight racism because capitalism produced racism. And he was killed by the counterintelligence program of the FBI. That's what Martin Luther King concluded at the end of his life. So it is our responsibility to not remake the wheel, to in fact begin to study and understand the conclusions that people in the late 60s, the radical movements last time, were saying. Because that's where we need to pick up if we're going to advance, if we're going to kick this ball to the finish line.
Thank you, Professor Fernandez. We're going to move on to announcements. So first, I would like to say thank you to Diana Rodriguez from the Eastside House, to Bharati from the Bharati Foundation, to Johanna Fernandez from Baruch College, and to Principal Brown from Capital Pratt Brown Charter School. Thank you for joining us today, doing such an amazing job answering these questions. We really appreciate your time. Thank you for being with us today. And,
Thank you for the invitation and for organizing this conversation.
Thank you as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This was good.
all right, guys, so we're opening the room for announcements right now. So if you have any upcoming events or any open positions within your organization, this is when, we have about 9 minutes if you want to make an announcement.
I'll be really quick. I'm Charlene Gordon from the Department of Health. Our announcement is next week, which is starting on the 26th through the 30th, is National Lead Poison Prevention Week. I put some information in the chat. We're having some free webinars in various languages, English, Spanish, Bengali, and Russian. Please join us, and we'll be very, very educated about lead poisoning. So that's my quick presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlene. Thank you.
Well, yes, my name is Filomena with Hunger Free NYC. I have a nutrition advocacy class every Tuesday up to November 28 at 4 p.m. We also have an office in the Bronx, 938 Sheridan. If anyone in the community or U.S. organization wants us to send us on regard of EPVBT, SNAP, and when it comes to organizing, please feel free to give us to share your information, or I get in contact with you. Hunger Free NYC, we have an office here. If you have any community that need to apply for this, feel free to call me or feel free to send us an email. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Hi everyone. I'm sorry, Paulette. My name is Jason Epting, and I'm actually here representing Mott Haven Families. We're a new organization that just came together with a group of diverse families. We are not connected to any nonprofit or anything at this moment, but we do have a protest that we have every week. As some of you have known, on June 4th, there were peaceful protesters who were protesting the death of George Floyd. On my block, which is 136th Street, police began to brutalize the protesters by kettling them at the end of the block. If you see some of the videos from that day, you will be mortified for the things that actually happened. But we have a protest every week, and it's family friendly from 10 a.m. to 11, right in front of the 40th precinct. And it's education building for young activists, but it's also a way for us to support our community and be a visible beacon, showing the police that they can't just do whatever they want to do in the Bronx. So if you'd like to follow us at Mott Haven Families on Facebook, that'd be great, or at Mott Haven Families on Instagram. But we'd love to have some more people come out, and we'd love to. We also hit other topics such as like Yahaira from La Mirada. We talk about ICE and its presence in Mott Haven, so we're hyper focused on our community, and we'd love to invite anybody that wants to fight for the beautiful Bronx to come and join us. So thank you.
Well, my name is Paulette Spencer. I work with the Bronx Community Health Network. We are sort of the nonprofit arm of the Montefiore Medical Center. I'm a community lead for a program called the All of Us Research Program. It really aims to discuss and to encourage people who are underrepresented in medical studies to participate in medical studies, since we have the greatest burden of disease in many cases. We have a speaker series where I interview members from the medical community, community-based organizations that focus on clinical studies in communities of color. And our next series session is taking place next Monday, October 26th at 5 p.m., where I'll be interviewing Dr. Carlos Rodriguez, who is the cardiologist at Montefiore. He's the director for clinical research in cardiology, as well as cardiology and epidemiology. And we'll be talking about COVID-19 and the impact on our community, especially when it comes to heart health and the importance of community engaged research moving forward in medical ethics. So I've included the flyer in the chat room. And if you'd like to join us, it's of course free of charge. Again, it's 5 o'clock Monday, the 26th of October. And we'll be discussing medical ethics, COVID-19, and heart health in the Bronx.
Hi, everybody. This is Diana Biagioli from Include NYC. Thank you for a wonderful conversation, first of all. Include NYC works with youth and children with disabilities ages 0 to 26. And I just wanted to announce next week we have this wonderful event that we usually do in person. We're doing it virtually. It's called College is Possible for Students with Disabilities. On Tuesday, we will be from 6 to 7:30. We will be dealing with students that actually have graduated from high school with a diploma. So it's diploma options for students with a diploma options after high school. And on Wednesday, and this is a new event that we started last year, for those students who did not graduate with a diploma, they got a credential, they have an alternate assessment. We have unique programs for them, college experiences and so forth. My colleague, Yulisa Garcia, has put all the flyers on the chat line. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Pedro Suarez. I'm the program director at LIFT New York, based in the Bronx. We coach parents on financial planning, education, as well as career exploration. I just wanted to say that we're looking to partner and share resources with our parents and members, as well as sharing resources with your members on a number of topics. So if anyone's working on digital literacy, work readiness, how to engage in the virtual environment, well-being, mental health. These are topics that are very poignant that we're looking to bring in experts and bring in resources. We have a series of workshops that we hold throughout the year. So I just wanted to mention that. I put my email in the chat, but it's psuarez@whywelift.org. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, my name is Jessica from Bronx Independent Living Services. This Friday and next Friday, we're having an event for National Disability Employment Awareness Month. And you guys can register by emailing me, and I'm going to put the flyer in the chat as well. Tomorrow, they'll be speaking about people with disabilities finding work. And next week will be about the ADA turning 30. And I'm going to put the flyer here.
Hey everyone, it's Bharati again. In the chat, I know I put 3 different events. Those are free and open to the community and the youth. This Friday is in front of the office of Assemblywoman Johanna Fernandez, where we're going to be giving out back to school supplies. She's going to do a storybook reading. We have about 200 storybooks we're giving out, as well as essential items. Monday, we're teaming up with the Garden, El Coqui Garden, as well as the sorority sister, the Kez, who is going to be doing a pink and purple awareness event for breast cancer and domestic violence. We're going to be able to tie nice ribbons on all of the trees that will stay up for an entire week. We also have information from different DV and breast cancer information that you all could use. Join us. And then the following Thursday of next week, we are going to be having a pumpkin painting session, as well as giving out some stipends to a few youth in the amount of $50 or $100, and those youth are being chosen by the garden members. So please join us. It's for all ages. You're all welcome. We have supplies for about 100 people or more, so please share the information. My email's in the chat, so if you need to email me directly to find out about what's going on in the different parts of the Bronx, please do. And I give an open invite to everyone. If you have an idea, if you're thinking of doing a seminar, you want to do something and connect resources to the community, please reach out to me. If I can't do it, I'll direct you to someone who can. I love teaming up with different individuals.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, so just very quickly. So again, I'm Mr. Dyke, James, Outreach Director representing Acacia Network. So recognizing that addiction is really, really an issue, not only within the Bronx, but it's certainly, again, globally, right? Okay. We need to really connect with our youth. With that said, I have put the information in the chat room. We currently have immediate bed availability for youth ages 14 to 20 years of age that are actually experiencing drug issues. Again, that program certainly again entails mental health services, primary care services, Board of Education services on site, currently at this time virtual, but placement for this youth can occur within 24 hours. So certainly again, it's directed to high-risk youth, so that if you know that individual youth, it's an all-male facility. Currently right now, the census, actually it's a 40-bed capacity, but certainly again, adjustments have been made where capacity is 25. So I, again, placed my information there. Please reach out to me ASAP, and certainly we could start the process going expeditiously, as well as our outpatient programs, residential inpatient as well, and specifically our 915 mental health site located at 915 Westchester Avenue on 163rd Street, open access mental health services for adolescents and adults.
Hi, this is Dilem from the New York City Poison Control Center. Just wanted to give some information regarding some upcoming webinars that we have. We have a webinar for medicine safety for parents on November 8th. On November 9th. And also we have medicine safety for medicine safety and falls on November 17th and 18th. You can register online through our website, and they're free, whether you're a community-based organization, whether you want your staff to go, or you're just the part of the community and want to attend. Again, these are free webinars that are available through the Poison Control Center. And we also offer presentations that are available for the community. So if you want more information, I'm going to again put the details in the chat. Thanks so much.
Yes, my name is Derwin Manigault. I'm with RevCore Recovery Center. We're an outpatient treatment program. We have services in Queens, Brooklyn, and Manhattan, but we also do treatment virtually. We're an outpatient clinic. We also offer MAT services, which is medicated assisted treatment. I'm the community liaison. I put my information in the chat as far as contact information, but I am so disappointed I came on the Zoom so late. This was a very robust, I heard the end of the conversation. It was great. I can't wait. There has to be a part two to this conversation to continue. So I'm definitely going to make sure I have my calendar clear so I can be a part of that discussion. With that being said, I have a request. I also work with a number of shelters throughout the city, and I'm from time to time asked by the men that they need clothing. So if any of you know an agency somewhere where I can get clothing for men, please contact me. My information's in the chat, email and phone number. I would truly appreciate that. I actually had a gentleman pull me aside today and asked me if I had those kind of resources, because he's down to his last and he's watching every bit of clothes every night so that he has something to wear. So please, if you know anywhere or some organization that can offer me those items, please let me know. Thank you. Oh, and again, today is Drug Give Back Month. This month is Drug Give Back Month. The DEA is having the event on October the 24th. You can go to the SAMHSA website and find out what's the nearest location. If you have any medication, leftover medication, or anyone that may have leftover medication, they want to give it back, you can give it back at designated sites. Thank you.
Derwin, just to mention that, I'm going to message you.
Yes.
My name is Bharati, and I'm in contact with quite a few different organizations. Just last week, I took 25 bags to 3 different locations, and these were lightly to new clothes. And if they're veterans, I have a connection with the Veterans Department that can actually provide them with shoes, boots, coat, everything. So I will reach out to you. And if there's specific need and size, would like to get them what they need, even if we have to individually get some of the members to sponsor them to provide a couple of new pieces. So I'm going to reach out to you now so you get my contact.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much.
Derwin, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, this is Mr. Dyke from Acacia Network. I've placed my information in the chat room. I can also assist you with clothing and actually to contact directly with vendors that we are linked to. Certainly, again, we also have our opiate task force, which we're out at the front lines Mondays and Thursdays, which clothing is included. So I can connect you with those folks ASAP. Just send me the particulars. My email is in the chat room. So it's jdike@promesa.org. Okay, reach out to me ASAP.
Thank you.
I just wanted to mention to everyone, last but not least, but most importantly, Acacia Network was awarded a federal grant, specifically working with reentry for our homeless veterans, employment and education. So that is paramount. So any one of our partners here, certainly again, please reach out to me that I can direct you certainly again for information regarding our federal veterans grant working with homeless veterans.
So once again, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for being a part of this panel discussion. Thank you for coming to our monthly meetings. Thank you, Diana Rodriguez from the Eastside House. Thank you, Principal Brown from the Bronx Prep Charter School. Thank you, Bharati from the Bharati Foundation. And thank you, Professor Johanna Fernandez from Baruch College. Thank you for serving as our panelists today. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate your partnership, and we hope that this will be one of many other panel discussions. Once again, my name is Danji Montestran, and we hope to see you on November 19th for our following general meeting. If you would like to be added to the agenda, you got my email. Make sure you send us an email. Thank you and have a great week, everyone. Thank you so much for everything.